I'm guessing this is one of the anti-Semitic Free Palestine people, I would assume. Who are not really like pro-Palestine, but rather just like anti-Israel because they're anti-Jewish.
A few moments later.
It should be legal for her to say she's a political streamer. Women shouldn't talk about politics. All right. They're emotional to the Jewish idea. Okay, what did I tell you? There it is. They are too emotional to the Jewish ideologic, demonic, mentally ill oh my god. He's like, you know what? I want to do a speed run. Every possible discrimination against every possible identity group in one tweet.
Bitch. Shame on you. Fuck you. Here's a Hasan orbiter Denims. You guys might not know who she is because she's mostly irrelevant. This is a disgusting human being. She's a vile fucking piece of shit. And yes, she is a fucking bitch. That's a fucking bitch of a person.
There's a bit too much passion coming out of him whenever he's calling her a bitch. Especially from someone who's supposed to be on the left. If your first instinct is to go to, you know, something about that person's identity, rather you can call them stupid or dumb, ignorant, or like I guess some stronger words than that. But I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
She is earning the coveted distinction of being a fucking bitch. I have decreed, let it be known that Denims is a dumb fucking bitch. What a vile fucking human being.
That's a lot of bitches.
Hey guys, I think I pissed off Ethan Klein.
It looks that way.
He hasn't had a lot of nice things to say about me since the incident.
45,000 live viewers, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that. She was watching the video live. Apparently, she was reacting to it live. I didn't really watch it. Again, I don't really care enough about it to watch some like over an hour worth of like drama. But yeah, she had like over 40,000 viewers, which I've seen that she usually does get a couple thousand, but it was a massive spike, which was like, you know, good for her. But yeah, that must have really upset Ethan, I guess.
5,000 views.
So yeah, I got around 45,000 viewers covering Ethan Klein's content.
We're talking about Ethan Klein today. I mean, for a while. Why not?
On Hasan.
It's Friday. Let's lighten up on some of our usual politics and go for this. I'm gonna open up my window curtain. Give me one moment.
The video was pretty terrible overall, and I think anyone that wasn't sure before is completely certain now that Ethan has become a shell of his former self. I mean, shit, I used to watch this guy in high school.
I wish I could fucking memory zap my face after watching this shit.
Now, this video isn't going to cover the whole manifesto because, well, I already did that on my stream, but I did want to respond to some of the clips of me that I've seen floating around. Before we get to those clips, I wanted to address Ethan and anyone else that might have noticed that I was silent or sometimes needed to control myself to make sure I didn't laugh.
Once again, speechless?
You're my hero, bro.
Nothing to say, girl! Say something.
More
Nothing to
stories
say?
coming out.
What's funny about that? Nothing to say? No comment?
I can't believe.
No comment! No comment. That's amazing.
I do think like when you make some sort of content, I feel like it is normal to want to see how people react to it. I mean, I personally really like when people react to my videos. There's a point where you start caring too much about what people think of you. And I don't know too much about Ethan Klein. I had watched some of his videos, like when it was like about some sorts of drama. So I remember there was this case of the ukulele woman, the YouTuber. I didn't know her beforehand. The one who was accused of, I don't know if it was like inappropriately texting children or something. I don't know too much. I know that Ethan covered it, and I watched like that kind of videos every now and then. But now that it's gone like in this weird political route, which is not really what he usually does, he's become, it seems, obsessive. And he's popping up everywhere in my feed. That's kind of why I decided to just finally watch some of this. But yeah, I mean, my advice would be to just like chill. I know that Ethan Klein and Hasan are apparently like falling off or whatever, but like move on, man. Like this is not healthy. Like just, he's got like, I don't know how many kids. Just, you know, do your usual stuff. This comes across as really weird.
The problem is that Ethan is lying. It's obvious to anyone that knows anything about the topic before going into the video, and it's also obvious to Ethan. I'm silent trying to control myself because I honestly cannot believe that the Ethan Klein isn't afraid to make such a dishonest video. In each clip, I am holding out in the hopes that he brings it back or explains himself, and each time he never did. He literally just leaves in flat out lies. And if you don't already believe me, let me show you. The first clip is about a Sneeko fan that harassed Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein says in his video that this was because of Hasan. The clip is supposed to be me saying that this is obviously a Sneeko fan and then being dumbstruck when he's proven to be a Hasan fan, but he's not. Ethan is lying. Let's watch the clip from his stream.
45,000 people and nobody's got a problem. Watch this one.
Fuck, bro, you're ugly as shit. You look like a rapist. Bro, look in the fucking... You look like a fucking rapist, Ethan.
Is she horrified by what he said, or she's like, got him?
You're bad for you.
Okay, can I just say really quickly, it's very obvious from the way that guy's talking he's a Sneeko fan. Like, that's very clear Sneeko lexicon. Can we just be honest?
Not gonna lie, I don't know how people know this much about other people's audiences. Like, being able to hear someone and immediately know like what kind of content. I guess in some cases it could make sense, because I think some are like really, or have some particular phrases that they use, like someone who follows Andrew Tate or something. I feel like it's, yeah, you can tell. Maybe it's the same with this guy. I don't know.
Just 2 seconds.
Let's be honest.
Like,
finally,
be real.
please.
Wallahi, that is not.
What Allahi?
No.
What does that mean?
Wallahi, I swear.
Oh, I
swear to
swear.
God.
Okay, good. He swears.
Did he get scared because of the Arabic sounding word?
God, bro,
What the fuck?
I love you, Hasan. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro.
Once again,
I have to interview you.
speechless?
You're my hero, bro.
Nothing to say, girl.
You're the coolest guy.
Here's the, you just went a whole fucking, you just grandstanded on how he's obviously just must not be a fan of Hasan. And like, how could she sit there so stupid and smug? Oh
Like,
my
just
God.
be- Again, Ethan is lying. His proof isn't proof at all. The first time this guy shows up during this stream, it happens 15 minutes earlier when he meets Hasan's crew. Notice he doesn't react when they say they're going to find Hasan.
Right now.
What are you guys doing? What kind of content?
We're just streaming. It's live streaming.
Oh, live streaming?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like,
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
content too, bro.
Yeah. Sure.
I do content. So you just literally live right now?
Yeah. Yes.
How many viewers?
A couple. A few.
You?
Yeah.
Like what, 30?
Probably more than 30.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say more than 30. Yeah.
Dude, guys, my YouTube channel is @dating&money. Please subscribe. @dating&money. I talk about Palestine
Dating
on
and
there.
money.
Yeah.
Dating and money.
I talk about Palestine on there.
Okay, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to find his son.
Okay.
Where is this guy?
Where'd he go? Yeah.
Just type in and then dating&money, guys.
Listen, chat, do not fucking go to dating and money.
Chat, you better stay here. Do not go to that. We can't afford to lose any more viewers. Hasan has fallen on hard times. You know this.
Now, the clip from Ethan's nuke, which happens 15 minutes later.
What's up, man?
Oh my God, bro, I love you, Hasan. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro. I have to interview you. You're my hero, bro. I love you, bro.
This one is pretty ridiculous on its face, so I'll just leave it there. But here are some of the nice things this guy had to say about Hasan and me on his Twitter. You know the difference between you and Hasan?
Let me check that out. So, okay, so I guess the guy was just farming some cloud. So he was commenting on Sneeko updates. Sneeko goes off on Twitch streamer Denims for being caught in 4K. That reminds me of Hasafa. That's very... LOL, women should stay out of politics. Why? I mean, that doesn't sound like a leftist particularly much. Free Sneeko on YouTube. Why is he banned for rules that were changed? And blah, 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 blah. And yeah, he's like free Sneeko. Transgenderism. Okay, yeah, so he's transphobic. Hasan is a communist queer who says he's free Palestine, but is very actually thinking otherwise. I'm guessing this is one of the anti-Semitic free Palestine people, I would assume. Like who are not really like pro-Palestine, but rather just like anti-Israel because they're anti-Jewish. It should be legal for her to say she's a political streamer. Women shouldn't talk about politics. All right. They're emotional to the Jewish ideal. Okay, what did I tell you? There it is. They are too emotional to the Jewish ideologic, demonic, mentally ill Oh my god. He's like, you know what? I want to do a speed run. Every possible like discrimination against every possible identity group in one tweet. Alright, yeah, so he's misogynistic. I told you, like, I think that Sneeko has the same thing, where they are pro-Palestine, not because they actually care about Palestinians or Arabs, but because they are so anti-Semitic that they just oppose anything that is Jewish-related. And yeah, he just also calls Hasan the N-word and F-word. Alright, I guess that does tell you a little bit about where he stands.
His Twitter.
You
know the difference between you and Hasan?
What?
Not Nasrallah. The difference between, Ethan, the difference between you and Hasan Piker?
Yes, what? Please tell me. So insightful.
He never...
I don't deny rape. I don't support terrorists.
I mean, okay.
I don't lie.
I mean, he does, but...
And gaslight and manipulate my audience.
The second clip is about a stream Hasan did reacting to Hasan Nasrallah. The accusation is that Hasan supports Nasrallah and I made a fool out of myself by saying that that wasn't true, only to be immediately proven wrong. Let's watch. He never said Hasan Nasrallah was a good guy.
Right.
You explicitly said Gallant was a good guy.
Right, exactly, of course. Invented the legend of the Nazi atrocities.
I don't have an issue with that.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen. Listen. You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these...
No comment.
Wait,
that's amazing.
What do we have to remember? What do we have to remember?
Hasan is reading a chat message. Yes, seriously. He goes on to explain that the reason the chatter might find himself agreeing with him is that Nasrallah is well educated.
You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these dudes, you see them in their fucking fits.
I mean, okay, that is kind of I mean, I was gonna say that's crazy, but apparently this is the things that Ethan Klein has been doing. It is very common for streamers to just read out loud the chat message that they're replying to, because that way everyone knows what you're replying to. So just taking that out of context, like if someone comes in here and says something, I don't know, anti-Semitic, and I want to reply to it, I'm very likely going to read it out loud, because that way everyone knows what I'm responding to. That doesn't mean that I agree with the message. It's just part of what you do when you are talking. It's like when there's an interview, something that's very common is that the person who gets interviewed has to repeat part of the question back, so that the audience knows what they were asked without actually having to answer the question. For example, if they are asking, I don't know, why did you move from California? I don't know, I just made something up. And then you start replying by saying, the reason why I moved out of California is blah, 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 right? Not just, oh, because whatever, because that way they just edit out the questions and it still makes sense. So anyways, yeah, this is extremely bad faith. And especially when he cut off what Hasan was going to say, because he was clearly building up to something. And even I noticed, right, that there was some kind of build up. So it's pretty ridiculous.
And you hear about like some of their attitudes about like gay people, for example, and you immediately fucking resort to Orientalist perspectives, not realizing that these motherfuckers are better read than you by a million. You might not agree with his methods, but ultimately this motherfucker has read a shit ton of books.
Okay, I thought those two clips were fun, but the next clip is a little bit more serious. Before we get into it, a quick palate cleanser. You'll notice when we get to the next clip, Ethan Klein put a banner labeling me as an ex-Destiny orbiter. He's doing this to distract from the fact that he's currently orbiting Destiny.
Yeah, that's something that I thought was quite interesting, because I think I've seen several threads on Twitter showing how Ethan Klein, posted Instagram stories of literal things that were taken from the Destiny subreddit. I'm sure she's gonna get into that.
Hasan and his community is desperate to link me to Destiny, someone who I don't even know. They claim that he like ghost wrote my video, that he's my favorite creator.
I wonder why people might think that. For one, Ethan uses Destiny's subreddit as a source for his stream. Here's him doing it in October, and here's him explaining why he got the Frogan section.
I didn't know that he did it openly on a live show. I thought he was just doing it behind the scene. That is pretty crazy. That really makes me think, because when you are knowingly doing something, I don't know, isn't there a part of you that should be worried about hiding it or ensuring that everything around it makes sense? I mean, if you're just watching the Destiny subreddit live on your show, how do you just deny that you're doing it? I mean, if you're doing it like offline, then sure, it's harder to prove, so you got more plausible deniability. But you did it like online. Do you just not care about the facts? Or is it really crashing out so hard that he's like deviating from reality or something? That's pretty crazy. I feel insecure about everything. I make one small mistake or something and I cannot ever stop thinking about it. I wish I was this confident. I always say that.
Wrong.
Here, it's right here.
Oh, never mind.
It's right here, right at the top. Frogan Rising Star 2024, right here.
Yeah.
What even is this post from? Is he?
Wasn't this one edited
Even
as
from
well?
Destiny subreddit?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's the post.
Yes,
so that's the post. So that is where I found it, and like I'll admit that was sloppy.
But really, we could also just ask Destiny. Here's what he had to say on October 22nd, the day after Ethan Klein got caught browsing his subreddit.
I know it wouldn't look good for Ethan to publicly do anything with you, but if you reach out on private at all...
I just want to remind everybody why it is a bad thing for people to be associated with this individual right here. So Destiny has been exposed as a repeat sex offender. He has been leaking non-consensual recordings, and he has also leaked what maybe at one point were consensual recordings, but he did it in a way which constitutes revenge porn, which is a crime in I think like 48 out of 50 American states. So yeah, he is a sex offender. Like, that's the kind of person who we're dealing with, not even going into his political takes. He has openly called for like the genocide of Palestinians. He has called for Gaza to be nuked and things like that. He has called for police to mow down BLM protesters and things like that. So not a great guy to be associated with.
Well, privately, we chat a ton, of course. Why do you think I've been off stream so much the past week? I'm like scripting these fucking videos. But publicly, I mean, it's difficult to associate with him because Hasan is just going to accuse me of like mind fucking him, basically, right?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if this is like the best argument, because I know little about Destiny, but I know that he's not a reliable person. I know that he lies a lot. He takes every possible side to every possible argument. He may even have said this knowing that Denims or someone else would use it in their favor, and maybe he was just lying to cause chaos. I mean, he could be saying the truth. I just have a natural just distrust for anything he says, so I would be a bit reluctant to believe this. But yeah, I mean, I do think there's some level of association between Ethan Klein and Destiny.
If Ethan Klein is willing to lie about all this other stuff,
that's also true.
What else is he willing to lie about?
I never fucked Destiny.
the casual tea sipping or coffee, I don't know what.
Anyways, on to the final clip.
Very good. Go from believe all women to pics or it didn't happen. The vast majority of people, if not all, who were raped were murdered on the spot.
Here's the thing, though. We are believing the women who come forward and talk about their sexual abuse or experiences. I'm not going to believe fucking Biden when he tells me that everybody's getting raped.
Yeah, so there's a big thing that needs to be considered, right? Whenever a victim of sexual abuse or assault comes forward, it is important to take them seriously, right? It's not about automatically believing every single person, because there are few, but there are some instances where people lie, right? But the vast majority of times, that's not the case. So yeah, they should be taken seriously whenever they come forward. But when you have not victims coming forward, but rather a state making an unsubstantiated claim, keep in mind, Israel did not allow outside investigators to look into these claims. Right? And instead, they use this as a justification to launch an invasion and a genocidal war. For that reason is that some level of skepticism is very important, right? Especially since, as far as I know, evidence of mass abuse on October 7th has not really come out. I think that instances of abuse happened, but none of systemic abuse, which is something that Israel claimed as a justification. And I think that's also what Hasan had been talking about. I'm going to let them explain.
That's insane. You realize that that's insane, right?
Yeah. Obviously.
Dam Goldstein Almog was kidnapped from her home on October 7th by Hamas terrorists and was held captive for 51 days. Though only 17 years old, she witnessed the murder of her father and sister on that day and is now speaking out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg, Screams Before Silence. In new footage, Agam reveals that sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
Hasan, maybe you would like to call her.
Yeah, I also know where that Hasan clip comes from when he says that it doesn't matter whether sexual abuse happened. It's not that it is not important. It is. If there is any evidence, right? I'm not super knowledgeable on all the evidence. If there is any, then yes, it should be taken seriously and anyone involved should be punished. We all agree on that. However, what he was referring to there is that sexual abuse is not a justification for genocide, right? It's not like, oh, some of your members, right, of Hamas committed sexual abuse and murder, therefore we get to kill the entirety of the Gaza Strip. That's not the way it works, right? That's what he was talking about in that clip, I think, if it is the one that I think it is.
You're a liar. Please, go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw it happen. What's the problem, fucking bitch? Did you not hear what they said? You respect women? Why are you calling them liars? How fucking cool is that? Say something. You just said you believe victims, but here's a victim right now, a woman, telling you this happened, and you're smiling? How do you disprove firsthand?
Samir Kandia says, people also tend to ignore the fact that on October 7, multiple parties, groups, and individuals beside Hamas crossed the fence. I mean, yeah, it's not that it doesn't matter, right? I do think that we have to be careful about the language we use. It is not a valid justification for what came after. That is the point, right? You cannot weaponize those abuses to justify a genocide. That is what it references. But of course, if there are instances that are, that can be verified, then yeah, there should be appropriate action measures taken. We all agree on that.
And testimony. She goes, I wouldn't believe it unless it was firsthand. Here's a 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her and she was kidnapped for 50 days and continually raped while being in captivity. Nothing to say? Nothing? You're not going to fucking acknowledge what just happened?
I will acknowledge what just happened. This woman who you claimed was continually raped in captivity did not claim to have been raped. In fact, when she was released from captivity, she had this to say.
ואז אחד מהם, הצעיר, עשה איתי הורדת ידיים, אבל הוא הביא מגבת, כדי לא... כי אסור לו לגעת בי. אישה היא מאוד... אישה היא קדושה שם. אישה היא מלכה. היו עושים לי שיחות איך לשמור על אגם. הסברנו להם שגם אצלנו לפעמים כן יש שלאגם יכול להיות חבר, או יכולים להיות לה כמה חברים לפני שהיא תתחתן. אני אפילו מעודדת את זה, שהיא תתנסה, שהיא תכיר, לפני שהיא אצלה מוסד הנישואים. אבל היינו מתאמתים על זה.
Later, she did a different interview for a
Okay, I don't know about this particular case, but if Ethan actually lied about that, it is beyond disgusting. I mean, and it's also one of the things where you cannot be wrong about, because I mean, we could all be wrong about, right? If I make a claim here about this video where I'm not really knowledgeable, I don't know who this person is, so this video may be like AI for all I know, right? But if you make a claim, like what Ethan did, saying that this person claimed to have been abused like regularly, and there is no source for that, or maybe he watched, I don't know, like some Hasbara meme or something. But yeah, I mean, lying about that would be beyond disgusting, especially because it hurts real victims of abuse. And I do know that Ethan has laughed when confronted with some cases, when there was the situation where someone made like AI porn of, I think, a couple of female content creators some time ago. I know that Ethan like laughed about it or something, which is insane, because having AI porn made of you, especially as a public figure and overall, is an incredible violation of your privacy. Sure, it's not like actually you, but it can still cause damage. If someone sends that to your acquaintances, it's still something that is going to make you feel very bad. It's going to cause some harm. And it is a serious violation. So laughing about it is disgusting, and that's why it is a bit hard to take Ethan seriously when he tries to act as a champion for women's rights.
Documentary, which is what Ethan put on the screen. In that interview, she says that at least half the hostages she spoke to said they were sexually assaulted. At no point did she claim that anything had happened to her, and to my knowledge so far, no hostages have given first-hand accounts of being sexually assaulted in captivity.
Yeah. That is what I've heard as well. Now, that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. It may have happened, right? We should always be careful. It is a very complicated situation, a very dangerous situation when there are hostages. They may be subject to mistreatment. If there are reports of that, then yes. And this is especially, okay, I don't want to say funny, but especially, you know, I guess just contradictory, because the person making these claims is pro-Israel. And we do have literal videos of Israeli guards raping Palestinian prisoners to death. And there were literal pro-rape riots happening in Israel because people wanted to defend the soldiers and the guards' rights to rape prisoners. Like, this is something that actually happened. It was like the Israeli January 6th. It was insane. It actually happened. So if you really care about sexual abuse, which you should, maybe you should start by caring a little bit about that as well. You shouldn't be so blinded by your partisanship. If someone on my side of any argument, of any cause, commits a heinous crime like that, you denounce it, because you're supposed to stand for values, not for a random flag or anything like that. Right? You just stand for what is right, and you denounce when things go against it, even if they are on your side. If someone I respect ends up coming out or gets ousted as a predator or something, yeah, it may sting, because, you know, you looked up to that person. But you have to be morally consistent and denounce that as well.
כל פעם שפגשתי מישהו היה לפחות מישהי או מישהו אחד שחוו התעללות מינית והתעללות פיזית. כמעט, כאילו חצי מהן.
Now, other women have also claimed that while they weren't victims themselves, they spoke to others that were, asking people to believe secondhand accounts that change with no explanation is insane. I take issue with other people manipulating these women's horrific experiences to fit their narratives. I have said countless times that in any military, paramilitary, or terrorist attack, there will unfortunately be sexual abuse. American troops have been found guilty of this countless times over the past.
Yeah, I mean, that is like a big issue with soldiers overall in war. It's horrible. And it's one of the reasons why war must always be opposed. Because even when it's not systemic, soldiers do that because they are first and foremost men. And, you know, men have a tendency to do that.
Few decades.
I mean, not all soldiers are men, but you know.
I have to believe that there was sexual abuse on October 7th. I will also always believe victims who come forward to talk about their sexual abuse. I stand by that. But you don't care about victims, Ethan, because if you did, you wouldn't make up lies just to push your anti-Muslim Arab bias.
Yeah.
What bias? This bias.
I do, on the other hand, acknowledge that, like, I think per capita, a lot of the weird fucking terrorism and crimes and shit, I mean, there's definitely some strong thread of violence through the Muslim community.
Yeah.
Or Arab Muslims, to be more specific.
Anyways, that's the video. And,
Like overall,
in
like
case
Muslims are just violent. That's crazy.
Ethan doesn't want to watch it, here are my thoughts straight from his mouth.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I'm not watching the video. What's the virtue in that? Literally, if you want to know what's my opinion, just watch the fucking video. I went through he goes, he's not political and he's a fucking idiot. Good, that's why I took my time to tightly articulate my thoughts. And
I mean, honestly, if I were you, I would just say that I rushed the video and that's why there's so many things wrong with it. Because if you try to pretend that it took you very long to make this video, I don't know, it's that's just worse, my friend. I don't know. So anyways, this was Denims. Ethan Klein is a Weasley little liar.